Teshe dele. We've been talking about how the brain processes sound information.
당아주 레베기 탄다 토수르기 탄다 다기 탄다 네수주라 예세 칸데 지금에 디코르셰로스.
So you're aware of things around you mostly because you see them.
당아라주 남주니 통디요로스 예인데죠. 제자 아는 아라주기 될 카리카리 유명 아라주 셰조 딜리요로스.
What if you couldn't see and you had to rely on your sense of hearing to determine the directions of sound?
제장아주 통두걸라 아는 오보디 카리카리메 정말 통에 리 하고에 셰 레라 차기요로스 기시 스타 탄다 왕수르 믹도 메오 인바이나스 아니 믹디 페주 마치니 암주랑 페주진 퇴소디 페주치니 아라주기 예윈라 카리유메 타골라 카리유메 하고구요나스.
Suppose, for example, you're walking along the road at night in the dark and you hear footsteps behind you.
tapeshanas ansela kira khombajani duguyorwas khombajan dudugal gyapni chik yonguyoro khombakpeguyoro kiranzo dadi khoainas.
Could you tell the size of the person making those footsteps?
Anita khombajangi mijyorwas gyapla digi ani migita subu chejung dikhiranzo hakugurwes.
Could you tell which direction they were coming from?
Ani cho khaneni yonguyeme dikhiranzo latugurwes.
Could you tell how fast they're walking?
Ani khomba yogle khagas keguyeme di latugurwes.
Yeah, so those are the kinds of information that we get purely through our ears and our auditory system. And we've already talked extensively about how this occurs in the brain.
Ta denzo nesu dinganzo hakodugoras thezorge gyuni ragyorwas di nesu denzo lebal ledu yese khande chigemi di rodan denzo esheyorwas.
So today, in my lectures, I talked to you about how different sound frequencies cause vibration at different locations inside the cochlea, along the length of the cochlea.
Dila du dai du chu minda oyu gola digi kembe ani nganzo gi thanda thanda kyong khare kyowang yo kyowang na la ani khandes tugu image ras lab twendi di korshe ras.
What is the sensory receptor that converts those sound frequencies into electrical signals?
Ta thanda nganzo gi dai du chu ju ras di leni ani logda le su gurgu doas di gurgen khandires. Khandire khari thabu phabu thabu hair cells.
That's correct. Good. It's the hair cell. So that hair cell is the sensory receptor responsible for the transduction of sound information into electrical impulses.
Restagda sonsons kailana thanda nganzo gi dai nesu lengi jorwas thanda dille ani pha nganzo gi thanda logda le gyugen di phabu thabung di chadyorwas.
Of course, it's much more complicated than that, and we saw that there are multiple brain regions involved in processing sound.
Ta thanda thozor da dewe nganzo gi nesu yesu chigyorwas ta tin dezo dilla ani leshun thanda thozor leshun chibu maimba dilla nyoyorwas mangayorwas.
The purpose of the lab today is to explore how well your brain processes sound, and in particular the direction that sound comes from.
Ta thanda chego chejorwas digi khandes khari korla ha kugur lawaina maran lebegi dai nesu di datin di khande yese chiyo che ani dadi khani ligiyeme digi ani ha kugures korla.
So let me first ask whether you have the lab handout for today, for this afternoon's exercise.
Kiranzola raso asa chego diga chi thari ningu jabgoji.
Some people don't have it.
Diride changmal raso amjo paro yudi.
I think maybe the copies are outside the door.
They've got it few days before, that's why some of them haven't brought it. Di yo changmala wangza cheri gaji di shugu changma ki yo changmai odina cheda dira amjo yudi.
You also need a pen.
Ani nyugo go yo rest dila chibu da adina.
Does everyone have something they can write with?
Nyugo da shanyu karina chik tiel ra.
Okay, we can begin though. So the first thing that we'd like you to do is to sit quietly with your eyes closed and simply listen to the sound around you. Try listening for a while with your eyes closed.
Ta chego diga thangbo khare chigu irla na digro as den ani khosimbu degu res ani 최고의 최고스 믹좀 처라 아니 암존이에 다 가리 가닐리게 다지라 딘 하고고요레스.
As you sit there with your eyes closed, try to notice how many different sounds you hear.
다 믹좀니 다디냐 탑시 치로스 디년두걸라 다이 릭민도 가서 고두스 디타고 레스틱.
And without falling asleep, try to notice over time whether the sounds increase or decrease.
아니 마쿠로 제스 니 마쿠네 따스 따제 가르치고라나 다 코에디 케체로 쳇루도 하나 충으로 충으로도 근데 케바디 따스.
As you sit there, think about whether there's anything you can do with your eyes shut to help you hear the sounds better. For example, turning your head in a particular direction or simply paying attention.
제스다 다디 카닐리도 토로도 마르도 타이로스 디타가서 아니 다디 소소 가와니 약부 구고나 디 소소 고야마 쿄나 디교레스 가와니 야가 군나 디 촐소스 암주 샤야라 디 소소 찬 구조타나 디교레스.
And then while you're sitting there, try to see if you can determine which direction the sounds are coming from.
안직다 가조 카닐리기 이미지로스 다디 안디 게란조 하고 구레스 모징고레스.
So let's begin now and go for about 3 minutes.
다단다 까마 숨 스토지 치고스티 라.
So shut your eyes, sit there quietly and begin to notice different sounds around you. And we'll let you know when the time is up.
안 코심 제 까마 숨링가 코심니 슈로 제스니 다 가리 가리 고도 소소 디체스 따제시스. 다디 체로도 충로도 라사 초 카닐리기 메다 다 가리 가리 고고요메.
Eyes closed.
믹좀 고레스 디다지시드 제고디.
Okay, open your eyes, please. So, how many different sounds did you notice? And what did you hear?
Okay, the sound of footsteps.
Sound of footsteps. That's one.
So he heard the movement made by the monks behind him.
Some people made some movements as they changed their posture. What else did you hear coming from outside?
So the sound of Indian workers, they were talking out.
Sound of the workers talking?
Chilo like lega chingi denzo keje shio kos la roas and shimba chilo ne kari kosons. Kari mota. Haya. Madabjo. Sound of a falling utensil.
Yes, I heard a pencil drop.
No, a utensil used in kitchen.
In the kitchen?
Cutlery, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not from the kitchen, but the ones we use for cooking, the pot.
Uh-huh. What was the other sound outside that moved, became louder and fainter?
Kujo tang roji keji koma suelas chiloni. Chiloni. Call. Dene khaji so. Chik doneni. So they heard there was someone moving from here.
How, was that a bird that I
Dinin
heard?
dos lara chare khare las chik dos laidi. How much say? So they cannot say.
Did you also hear a bird?
Ani chai ke kosuelas chuke.
Cheep, cheep. And it got louder and fainter.
지우게 체로 체야 마 충로도 인데 저 고마 쇠사지. Yes.
How about a horn?
아니 뭐로 디치요.
I heard a horn.
게디. 고스웨 사운드.
So it was possible to tell in some cases where the sound was coming from, sometimes here, sometimes here, sometimes from the road.
kabring aran su dadi khane ligyo me kabre dene ligyo ro phagine ligyo ro ra gyap ne ligyo din su khu dos langal to de jo.
So the next thing we want to do is really demonstrate experimentally how good our sense of localizing sound really is.
tang aran su dig jel chego igyuni takche susu rang chini ha ku res ta dadi khane ligyo me la jura aran su dil di thol khande me jura la chida dikor ha ku res.
And in order to do that, we're going to collect data and graph the data in our experiment today.
di takche chidu gal ngjo khari gu gu la na thangdo du gu res an thangdo di du sa jela an tigri ko gu res dila.
So you all started with making some observations when you shut your eyes of what you could hear and how well you could tell the direction of the sound.
ta mik sum bai na ge ngjo gi ta dadi khandi ligyo me jora di ani dadi khani ligyo me da khari me di ngjo shipta chi ras mik sum ne.
So let's use the scientific method now to generate a hypothesis about our ability to localize sound.
ta ngaran su gi ta dadi dine yungur la ne ha khwe joras dil ani ngaran su gi cheba ji sha gos takje dila.
Could somebody restate a hypothesis about our ability to localize sound?
digal ani kheran su gi cheba sha thu resa.
And remember, the hypothesis should include a statement about how well something works.
ta social na kheran su ha ku yas di khari la gor la na ta di lega khandis chigre la jorwa di kor roas kheran su ta ta ngjo khari kor takje khari gan le der la na da di khani ligyo me ne di ha ko ro ta dil pa be ni takje dil social sha tu re sa kheran su social khande ji shagi is.
So does someone want to try to generate a hypothesis about our ability to localize sound around us?
ngjo da di khani ligyo me ne khani ligyo me jorwa di ngara ju gi ha ko thue di gi niba jorwas di kor la ni kheran ju gi social sha tu res chi gi kheran ju ni soba sha tu samare dende china di dende yongure stolan. miktsum ni ra tande dera takje chido choba sheyu ya namju ta choba tanda di chiwa na choba khandi ji shaksa resa la kachi gore khandes di chodi kharchi imbaina alele. So if we hear something from this side, we get to know that from this ear we get to know that the object is over there on the right, and if we hear something from this side, we would get to know that the object is on the left side.
So the hypothesis might be that we're able to localize sounds around us with good accuracy.
Ta ngaran sugi tanda dadi khani ligyo me jorwas di ngaran sugi khani ligyo me lan ten jorwas di ani nibadi yorwas khani ligyo lade.
And that we need two ears in order to localize sounds effectively.
Dilo du dadi khani ligdu la thue khadu la thu la na dilang ju amju ni gu yorwas.
Okay, do you agree? That's a good hypothesis?
Di relas di khare choba yagu chagdu esa tanda di.
Okay, so that leads to predictions. And a prediction then is if I set up an experiment where the subject is sitting here in the middle, blindfolded, so he can't see where a sound is coming from, and we ask him to point in the direction that the sound is coming from, the prediction is that the subject will be very good at localizing the sound.
다 단당 알아서 딱지 치고 요라스 셔샤샤라 딱지 디고스 가르치기라나 다 딱지 시사 유주라 다 코란 가르치기라나 다디 디니 리도 랑게 디 차고라 안 코디키라 디레스 미캅 셰레스 미토에 요마라 디 아니 다 코란게 디니 리도 랑이 야푸슈 코란 디데 누바 요르란 라게 레스 당아주 몬바직 디레스라
So shall we do the experiment?
experiment?
Shall we do the experiment to actually test that?
다 거기 다디 칸일리를 딱딱 라투를 라고 이러스 디 체랑 아주 딱지 치고 이러스 아주 뭔가 디샤러스 안 딱지 치겠어다.
Okay, great. So I need 8 volunteers to make noise.
다 디날 가지고 일라나 당랑 게고요스 디 칼라나 게줄 게딩에 게야고요스
Please come and sit at one of the numbers, 1 through 8. Just one person at each location.
당랑 게고르라라 디 쇼부치긴 숨란 딱 야샤도스 쇼부 코요나 온디 요서들라니 슈로나서 미게
8 noisemakers.
미스케서 게고르스 또 디택 쇼고민도 될라 될라 페데
3? We need a 3. Okay, so let's go around. Each of you hold the, these are tuning forks. There's 2 ways. One is this way, but each of you, if you hold it this way, will make a different frequency of sound.
한다 세트르지 돌았디 투마디기로 슈당 요레스 찍디 탄다 쿠랑기 슈소 탈답소스 딘데 슈당 민다게 되쇼 민다 퉁기레스
So we don't want to hold it this way because our subject will be able to learn by hearing frequency differences. So we want to hold them this way.
제자다 탄다 딘데 치오에나 되쇼 퉁구로스 안 케란조 상마에 되쇼 찍고 퉁구로스 안디 하고 그레스 제자 아니 케란조기 주당 딘데 주로 치사 갭닌디 듄라
And let's go around and hold this way.
갭닌디 탄다
And each of you practice just making a single sound. So let's start. 1.
찍슈달라스
Okay. Try to make the sound with just hitting the ends. Just like that.
주당 대하란 슈였어 디 찍슈사 찍을 찍기
Okay. Now, we're going to do something different. I'm not going to say, I'm going to point to you and I want you to make the sound. Okay?
케란조 상마 슈에슈다 찍부찍이야 슈고다 하고서 단다 슈당디
Okay.
강바찍디 듄뒨요 강바찍이 요 듄뒨레시 아니 주구주구라 아니 신이
the rest of you have
다브치사
to be quiet.
셴바수제 단다 다베요 마레스 게라 주구주구라 아니 신이 다베레스
And it has to be loud.
게 침부디 라 침부 쥔달라스
Great. Good. Okay, so everybody's got the hang of it.
따디 컨테스트 오이메 도단디 싱소알라스다
So now I need 8 more volunteers to come and sit behind each of these noisemakers.
따디 다중에 게서 돌라스 코란수기 갭레야 양교 미게 페로치스 코란수기 갭레 찍찍 슈로치스
And you will record data.
아니 케란수기 가르라나 장도디 팅에 딘다스
Need to bring your hand out.
케란수 단다 쇼고치 담서 온디 키용으로 칠라스 디나 티에도
Bring your hand out. And a pen.
안 티에 샤뉴이나레 아니 뉴고이나레 직 남페
Okay. So,
또 찍찍 담로 찍래 니창 봐야
we need somebody here.
페일 찍고도서 케란 찍고데 양교 찍페다 데라 코란레 장도 팅에 찍고도
Right. Number 4 needs somebody. Okay.
케란 데페다
So now I need one more volunteer to be blindfolded and sit in the center.
다 당랑 고수세 미캅니 댕이 케란 찍페로
Oh, he needs a cushion. Do we have another cushion for him? Do you need a
다 케란 슈딩 고마르에서 라 Di shobu di kyonga. Shobu di tong. This one will do. Yes.
Not very comfortable. And you need to face in this direction,
Dong pal te resega. Pal te ka pal.
right here.
Karban chol taru
Face number 1. And okay, so you're going to wear these blindfolds.
te de mi ka e judo di ka gu res.
And I'm going to ask someone to make a sound. We're going to practice.
Ta dil thangbo thangdo din zu ma thi kon jongdar chik che yin sta je di.
And we'll practice before we start the real experiment.
Ta je ngoma ma chi kon lan jongdar che yin sta di jongdar re da sa.
Okay. And you will not tell us where the sound is coming from. You need to point with your right hand.
Ta gela khara ki le shungin yo. Tanda khara da di kon zu sunni tungu ros. Cho khani yongu yemi di ani zugu ityon ro lagba yebe zugu di ityon ro chis. Khani lagu yo mares zugu ityon ro chis.
And data recorders, please don't write anything yet. We're going to do a test experiment.
Ta tanda jongdar ro chezan kheran zu mathi ro chis sa thangdo tyungye din zo.
Just to make sure our blindfolded subject can actually hear.
Ta tanda kurangi yakbu khu de te yin thangbo.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. Very good. Okay, I think we're ready to do the experiment. Should we turn the air conditioner
Yeah,
on?
I'm going to turn off this.
Okay. So it's important that everyone is very quiet during the testing.
Ta tanda di ta je di chi ro an kheran zu ke ya mar khu sim bu shwe res. Di chi bu da go ro. Anda di.
On your data sheets, for each test, you record whether he was able to accurately point to you.
Kheran zu thangdo nal khari thi bu gu la na ko gi zugu di ta ta chu thu de la ju ro chu swe lan di thi bu gu res.
So you record only yes or no when you have made the noise.
Ta kheran gi da di tun bai nas ra da chik chik thing ye ro. An kheran gi tun di ko ta da zugu chu na an chu su lan yes.
So for the recorders here, you only record when he is making the noise.
Kheran thangdo di su ga ji di ur la na kuran chi di chi bu de res.
And you only record when he is making the noise.
Kheran thangdo de di kela kheran gi nyeram le yo kuran gi drush tung ra. Di go stak da la tu du la tum di chi bu de res.
So this is sound location 2.
Di thanda dai ne di khari cha de la na niba di res.
And this is subject number 1.
Ani thanda yu thangbo di cha de ras ta ji chi sa.
Honju. So you can write his name down under subject.
Ta del ta je yu la ni dos. Del ani kuran gi ming wang chu da wang chu this les.
Okay, subject A. Honju is subject A. Okay? So you can write A on the first line.
Ale thik thangbo ji da del a thina dig res. Ka da e khari thina ra.
We are testing subject A.
Monzu gi thanda yu ta thangbo ji ros e ro ming sha res.
So everybody write subject A.
Thanda thik thangbo di na la.
Subject A. Okay? So if
Might it be easier for them
Aldina ta je dro be lo yu lan khare lo chu ros thi da on drish.
to have a minus for an incorrect?
okay, can you so plus
Ale di lela ro susta keran su gi dik song la na a poda di garo chis ra. Ani norway na moda gablas. Ta song ma song di dik la ni igring bu thugum da ta gya chi bu.
So we're going to have 8 sound locations.
당 아주 단다 따제 디나라 다이네 쿠이 가주 라와이나 게 로아스 용사
Okay? And you only record yes or no for your particular location.
안 장도 디던 고츠 소라스 수수 니니냠도 데요 코란기 다툼베 가수 코란 주구주에 디릭션 디마소 디지부레스 셴바가 티에 마레스라 수수랑 거지
Subject A can't go to sleep.
아니 케라 따제 지사 유디 니예 마르달레스 상부 데르다스
Is everybody ready to begin?
자리에서 상마 알레 케란조 디나 당보 뉴 숨발란 하우라 디나 요라 젤 틸로 안기 간디 이메디 당보 뉴 숨발란 단다 티셔나 해면나 킨조 유 간디
Subject, where did that sound come from? Want to try it again?
연교직 제결레스
Did we go all the way around?
코라 게스에서 상말
Yeah. Okay, so now let's take, thank you very much.
길라길라 투시 나왔어다
Now we can have a different person come to the subject number B.
다 코란기 삽라 당랑 심바지 인다서다 다 단다 이게 당보 지사 주요 데라 따지 지사 록줄런 티다 데라 비티로 치로 키란소
Everybody was very good at making the noise. I repeated some positions.
카시 단다 키란소기다 다트윈 야고베 트윈 송라스 네 카시 랭이 껴도 연교 키란소 동라소 아스티
So just if I repeat you, just write the result down on the same line. Don't use a second. Don't use the next line.
다 테마니 치주에 나스라 다트윈도갈 다 딕스 니가 디와이나게 포다니 리로 디 니가 찌기 절찍 마티로치스 틱 다랑갈 티로치스
So now we're on the second subject, B. So you should record your data here, along this line on your chart.
당은주 따지 치사 유 지우게로스 비차로다
So we haven't
아니
done
디
this.
틱 니바 주다 델라 티로치스
Okay, so everybody should have nothing in the second line, the line B.
제산 틱 니올라다 비 마시 탄다 개구지 똥바샤구요레스 니니 강가지 월레 치유나 탱마니유나 강라 땅로치스
Subject B.
비 팀베
Okay, let's begin. Do you need practice?
종들 고에사게라 따지 치사 유라 종들 고에 먹어 no need
Okay, ready?
다리 요사 상마
Okay. Did we do everybody?
다 개차인 봐 정도 뒤인 봐.
Okay, next subject, subject C.
다 use 심바지인다 다 subject C 고 상절.
Very important not to move your head when you're doing this, so please try to sit very still when you're.
다 길라 슝이 수인 바이나라. 젤 구조 땅 마레스 갑도 데레스 다디니드.
Do you need to practice?
정더 고에서 길라. No.
Okay. Let's have subject number D.
다야 다지 제사 심바지인다스. 저만은 당일랑이 좀 기길라지. 저만은 당일 로시도 제조도.
So remember, you all want to try to make the sound exactly the same way so that he can't tell who you are because you're making a different sound. Very short sound. Okay. Do you need to practice?
정더 고에서 길라.
Okay. Okay. This is subject D.
땅아주 nga와라 다디 다지 시사 유nga와레스다.
Okay, do you need to practice?
정더 고에서 길라. No.
Okay, very good.
Everybody be sure to make a good
The next subject.
다 덴데 트로 치야사. 약부치. 다 상부치. 다 상부 고레서디. Need more? One more. 연교 탕라 심바치. 다 탕랑 치스레 치나 디게 레라스다. 인다 레메치니 인다자. Shukche stop go down di.
Okay, thank you.
And Shimba.
Next subject. You ready? Okay, thank you. Subject H. Any more left?
딸 하우스에서 그런 용어에서 신바 그냥 차세 정말 차서 차세 지겨래 네 그러시 마 디조디 제 고메서 저 디조디 안돼
Okay, so could you move up a little bit
This düna pegesa gela.
forward a little? Thank you. Do you need to practice?
정달 고야사요. No.
Thank you. One more.
뜻지긴데서.
Two more.
양교니 고였어.
Two more. One more, come forward. So for the experiment to work, we need 10 different subjects.
디날 미추 고요레사 디날.
Okay, new noisemaker.
야, 걔랑 동네 제니라. 찍기라 슈다.
Where's the...
디믹 카베 디코. 레디.
You don't need to practice. And please move up a little bit. Are you ready?
다리 유에서. Zuzu gela yine. Then you didn't hear the last one. Anshashan.
Okay, thank you.
그치 나온다.
Okay, one more to go.
또 연결직 거르사 타마직. 또 키라즈 낭론 찍페나. 동해. 동해.
And please move up just a little bit.
This 둘라 패드사.
Thank you. So, for sound location number 1,
달리사 당보주라 디인다스.
what is the total number that are correct?
다 디고 탄다 주구주도 딱다 디교 안기 가주 찼어. 포다 가주도 온들라.
What are the total numbers of responses? We need the total number, and then the percent correct.
당보 가주도 따들라스 야렌치교 에디기.
Because
에디 마레 gond다 창마이 야렌.
total
Of all
number
subjects,
plus
right?
and minus.
플러스 마이너스 창마 돔 닐라다 가주도사 야렌치교.
So for each of you, count the total number of yes and total number of incorrect responses.
One correct and other one incorrect.
We need to know the total number
Total,
because
okay.
sometimes I
지
repeat it.
가르샬라나 창마 돔니 야렌 가주테 메조라. 포다 모다 니가 돔니 가주도 어디티 찍델라 아니 포다 가주에메 가가스티게메 온디니.
They will probably need some help. So count the total number of plus and minus.
포다 모다 니가 돔라 찍라.
Yeah, but we first have to do the. So we're doing the column, the location, right? Total correct at the bottom for all subjects.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to know the total number of times I pointed to each position. So for number 1, it could have been 15, it could have been 20, and then we need to know of those how many were correct.
단다 키란수 따 당보로 차셔나 키란수라 주고 가주주에메 라나 포다 모다 창마 돔구고 로스 디 가주에메 디체 데네 가주 딕샬라나 포다 지부타 우고 로스 디니 안기니디 견돔니디.
Okay, so it was at 19 correct?
아니 토탈 가주르샤.
And out of a total of 33.
35.
34. 35, sorry. No, that's 34. 34? 34. No, it's 19 out of 34. So we need to do the math. Sorry, it's harder. Okay, so position number 2.
어때 당보디가 지 차소스 숨주 섭시 야린 숨 섭시 때도 주고 주에디 데네 주고 딕샬레스.
12 correct out of 20. So 12 correct out of 20. Good. Position number 3.
20 responses.
17 correct out of 20. Number 4. Total. How many total?
견동
is
가져를
correct. This is incorrect, right?
근데 디교 디라 아니 노르교
So
한디레라.
it's 37.
Okay, the incorrect one is this one.
Oh, okay. So it's 23.
Total 18. 좁게 라 견동. So total is 18.
Is this
The correct one is 14 ra.
Oh, that's a 14. Okay. 14 out of 18 correct for position 4. Position 5, it's total 39. 29 out of 39 correct. Thank you. 12 out of 16 correct, position 6. For 7, it's 9 out of 17 correct. For 8, total 21 and how many correct?
디교 가져요세. 디고
16 correct out of 20 correct.
견동 가져. 21 out of 21 가져. 6 correct.
6 correct and
Out of
16 incorrect.
주룩 노르엘라스. Yes.
6 correct out of 16.
ठीक अनि दी 견동 가져를 줄구라. Out of 21. 21.
21.
Yes.
Okay.
So now we can calculate on average what percentage are correct.
다 계란주 ялин테 로스 ялин테 요니 카가스 릭샬라니 갸차타 고스라. 니리레라.
So, where, according to this, what locations are we most accurate at localizing sound at?
다 탄다 디 창도 디 로스 딜라두 갈타 ngajogi tawaina thangboño sumbalani ne din roas ni khandi ge jen ngajogi takta la thudus yakshuro khandi la thudus dina khandi the third position
The third position, the fifth position, and third, fourth, fifth, right?
sumba shiwa ngawa dore dos 3 4 5 6
What positions are we least accurate?
ta nore manga khari takta lama thuyo khandi chashas 8 number 8
And what else?
ani shembasa number 7 7 8 1 ani number new gire dos angi
So, can you think of a way to graph these results?
ta di thangdo di theoretical ko lana khandes chigesa
Give him some help graphing these results.
ta di theoretical go rolas di dumje di
What's
ani
the
ge
first
mai ga
thing?
rokba chidasa khari chigu
What's the first thing that you would want to show on a graph?
ta theoretical go na thangshyo khari tyen go res dinala takje di gaji
So remember, we have, usually in a graph, we have an x-axis and a y-axis.
theoretical lana theorinal thingi dos ngu ni ro chik x lan chik y lan cha ni ros
Which one is the y-axis? Is it this one or this one?
tang ju x the y lagi yos y lana khandi re di gang jongi dire thela jongi dire khandi res yeah this one yeah
Okay, so y-axis.
di rosa y ros x lana di ru ros
Okay.
Do you want to label them?
Yeah. So, what do we want to put along the x-axis?
tang ju dig wala sha gu ros an x la khari sha gu res tak je dil sha the sound location on x
Location. Why do we put sound location on the x-axis?
ta x kala thandang ju dai ne ju ro di khajin sha gu yes thangbo nyu sum bale x la sha la ro x la khajin sha res
Why wouldn't we put it on the y-axis?
y la khajin sha yo mares Because on Y we need to put the numbers which goes up and down.
Right, so it's easier to visualize the change looking at it going up or down.
Di tadu gola an nganzu gi chik gyo dre jora phargu yemi chagu yemi di thungu roas.
And by convention, scientists usually plot the variable that they are measuring that changes on the y-axis.
Ta nganzu thanda tagji chidu gyurang yo roas. Di gyurang gyo dre jo roas. Di rig di nganzu ani thigri nal koidu gola y chola shagyo res.
So at the top of the y-axis, the perfect score is 100%.
Ta thanda y na la nganzu gyacha tatta wa na srada. Thanga dil tadu gola ani takta khandi ligorla na gyacha gya ligyo roas.
Just like all of you will get on your final exam.
Ta di khare ro chaworla na kinzo exam thama del ngoma del ani gyacha gyan gya rag roas di ro chagyo roas.
So the y-axis label is what? What is the label?
Ye thanda y la chik gya doas. Di ani khare thigu go res dela. Ta gya jo dela. Khandi? Tindi la na? Alele. The result of the percentage?
Percentage.
Okay. So, percent.
Khagas digi me gyacha di roas di.
Okay. And what is and we already have the location or sound location on the x-axis.
Ta nganzu dra ne jo ra khane yungu me di ani nganzu x la shay roas.
So how could we plot the data that you have on the table?
Ta di roaming la tuen jo thangdo jo roas. Di nganzu thigri nal khande shages.
Maybe the recorders for each position could come and plot the data that they collected.
Cheza ani kheran jo re ni thanda thangdo dyunge jo di phe ni ani kheran thigri gal koiro chidas.
So number 1,
Thangbo di phe da.
Before we do that,
This question.
which way do you think it would be best to do this as a line graph or a bar graph?
Tang jo thigri ko dang ni yoas chik thik theni basra chik thushi namu su yoas khandi chigesa tharinde. Khari chine ya res. Thik ji de a line graph.
A line graph? Okay. So a line graph, we do a line graph, it goes something like this.
Thik the ana dende ro rolas.
Or do you want
This question.
a bar graph or a histogram, which looks something like that.
Khandi gosa ta. Second one.
Okay.
and why?
An khari chine sa. It's easier to look at.
Right, and also we don't know that there is a connection between the different
An chik khoran so ita ne re la ni khajewa da kheba rojora seu thongu dos di thiwa ina.
So these are independent locations.
Di lo de khoran so ne logo tung dos di thushi namu di thiwa ina.
So now could recorder number 1 come and show how to plot the data for position 1?
Thangbo di gaji. No di ro chere thushi namu chere ina de la ko gora. Kerang gaji thangbo di ro. Khore ngapchu ngatu. Thanda di thushi namu thi do. Di x da y da dingyu ni do. Ta thushi namu di thi ur kerang gaji thangbo di gaji. Di thangbo gaji khagas ri shegya ja di. Thangbo de la. Kerang thangbo ro. Thangbo gang ni. Khajur kerang gya ngapchu ngatu.
Oh good, he has some help.
Yagu da ko robar rasles.
Okay, 56.
Gya ngapchu ngatu roas de.
Thank you very much.
Niwa chita sumba.
A little above 60.
The sumba did this structure gang list. 개 머리 쓰겠네.
This is not an art class.
The remove dinner marvelous. 개 marvelous. This is not. 계란 싸자 디마샤. 계란 싸자. 아, 죽발라. 원래 X 더 Y 니가 따오라.
That's right.
디디샤스.
Good. Yeah. Anybody else want to make any corrections?
다 계란스 나로니야 subject 당고에는 페고여서 디간 딕데 당고에 메었어.
So,
How about number 2?
단 안기니와디 가르치스.
yes. Good. Anyone else? Okay.
This is sometimes called massaging the data.
디칼로는 간서 마사지 당기야. 장돌로 마사지 당하러 라고 그랬어.
I think that's a pretty good representation of your data.
계란소의 장도 순제 야구 쇼도스.
So, very good job.
야 야구 배치 손스다 상호에.
Excellent. Let's hear it.
Can somebody restate the major findings of your experiment? Can you restate it in the form of a conclusion?
다 계란소의 뭐라 쳐봐다 뭐바 샤사인 바스 간저. 다디 죽돔로 계란소의 셰투사 레스. 간저 카리니에 뭐디. 다지 지라다 다지 사서 아니 죽돔로 다지디 친 카리니에 스타운들레. So we are able to perceive sound better from our right ear.
In this experiment, absolutely, yes.
res 장도 들다나 다다 res. So we hear better from these two sides. So when we move further away from here, like we are not able to hear properly.
So in
I mean,
fact,
we are not able
that's-
to locate correctly.
So restate the hypothesis, the original hypothesis.
오니 쳐봐 샤교 주어서 디시에 다스케르도다. 가래. 냥 쳐봐 하리샤르. 쳐샤 하리샤이. 라. 머리 쳐샤 하리샤레. 이. So our hypothesis was we will able to hear locate the sound if it's coming from this side. We say that okay. If we hear from this ear, we say this.
Right, so we're able to locate the source of the sound.
Ta nganzo ki drag khani ligyo me jo ras. Di ani nganzo ki ngojin tur lagyo ras khani ligyo me di.
We had 8 locations. What would be the probability if it was simply chance, if we were not able to locate? Where do you think the percent correct would be?
Ta nganzo ki thanda takta lama thu ina sra. Ta gyaje diwe gyaje jo ras di khaw lig res. If you are not able to locate correctly.
In other words, if you were just guessing,
If you were just guessing.
you were just
takta
guessing.
keran chu gi lama thu che ra. An keran chu choba chini del yer law ina andi khandes chag res. Thangdo di danyam khanen chongin kwede. So the sound we hear from both sides won't be equal.
Right. So with 8 locations, if you were just guessing and you weren't able to locate at all, then the chances are that you would be right 1 out of 8 times, or about 14%.
Choba shanita susugi choba chinita ali deyor law inas ra. Ta geni chicks mashi digma ras. Tende chiwa inas.
So at every position, we were above chance in terms of our ability to locate the sound.
Michael,
Dila
can
duta
you show
choba
where that
chiwa
would
le
be on the graph?
maran chu nuba pheju chiras. Nuba di thua dwas khogap le. Da di khani yungu me choba chini thepte law le maran chu thanda dai nuba di pheju chiras thozor di pheju chiwa indu kala thanda khogap di da nuba di duru na khogap la ya gi dwas nuba di thua dwas.
So the dotted line here represents the probability that you would guess correctly.
The theas choba chini nga so law inas ra. Ta digyo ta oina pheje digas diksi ras.
So was the hypothesis supported by the data? The hypothesis was that we will be able to accurately localize sounds around us.
Ta nganzo chosha khari shair law ina nganzo gi dadi khane lig du lai di takta ngarang gi ta thagor le yor was dal le di khane lig me di takta la thur lai ras chosha di.
So the hypothesis is supported, but what else do the data tell you about your ability to localize sounds in front of you or behind you?
Ta thanda nganzo gi dadi takta la thur lai di thangdul ta ina di roba chiyo ro gyabgyo chiyo dos thangdo de da nganzo choba dila gyabgyo chiyo res. Ta di ni chu chikbu mai ba ya ni chu shimba ngaran chu dyun da ngaran chu gyabyo ros di korla thangdul ta na khari she thu dos. Dyun le ta da gyab ni le ta jo ros dila. Khardo dyun da gyab las e yo mare thanda gyab di ta kale khaga do yaga dos. So we were able to locate the sound which is behind us
And to the side of us.
an thana shi thalo yo de ros ra thalo yo de yapu le tho chen gyab di.
But the most mistakes were when the sound was directly in front of us.
Ta mang che norgyo mangsho khol nor yo law na mara su dyu yo di nor dos su dyu khari yo di.
Sort of. So this is a good demonstration that we can localize sound without visual input.
Di ta khari gi tingu law na ngazo mig di pheju ma chi na ra ma ta na ge ngazo da di khani yong me la tu yo ros.
Why might we make more mistakes when the sound is somewhere in front of us?
Ta thanda ngazo ta ji chidu ha go sa dyu ni yong di ta la tu men dos norgu dos di khaji norgu yo res. Maybe because usually we use our eyes mostly.
That's partly true.
Dik ta pheje ta halam ro demba roj res ra.
If a sound is coming, if we're facing the board and a sound comes from the right, that sound is going to arrive at the right ear a few moments before it travels around your head and arrives at your left ear.
Ta thanda dinini daj liyo inasra dilidu thangbo kho lirlana oncho yeba de liroas and jadi thanda dugora labdi dine phalela tis korgu roas dinyela liyo roas.
And this slight delay is computed by neurons in your brain in order to localize sound.
Ta tujo jelu thegu dos chigdi digi ani nganjo thanda wangza thasu den so ta thune ani ngara chugita di chigures on ta la thu res thanda di chigi jel chig tis tujo kheba dos digi.
So when sound are coming from in front of us, there's not a big delay between the time it reaches the right or the left ear.
Ta ine kesi jadi ta ye chon leoina ye di thangbo thudu di da dini tujo jelu theju di tani kheba che tu res la ra duni le jo dajim bainas ta amjo ye da ye nigal la tujo chig la li dos.
So that's more confusing to the brain.
Digi ani level la gonyo bu su res di ta jo di.
So if you were a cat or a dog, how do you think a cat or a dog would perform in this experiment?
Ta kesi so ki da shimi bainas ra ta ki da shimi di ta chi jo na khandes chigire samgu dos.
So if we ask the cat to point its paw where the sound is coming from,
shimi inda shimi kora lagwa di zugu je relas.
or if it could tell us, would a cat be more accurate than we are?
Kare o khonjo nganjo le ya la tu yo aslas ta di khani li yo de.
Why?
Dende yimba ina khar chin res khonjo ta ta suk thue di nganjo le ya ga.
Why do you think a cat would be more accurate than you are?
Ta nganjo da duro ina shimi di ya la tu res la ra ta zu zu di saja khani li gi me di khajin la tu res shimi. Khari siwa hagur. Taki khari? Dang. So by the tone, they are able to grasp the tone of the sound better than humans.
Well, possibly. One other possibility is that they can move their ears. And that allows them to, it's just like when we turn our head. In their case, they can move their ears. Dadi khani liud la dulam sa tagi was mig de peju was diro shimi den zo imana khoran zo dadi khani liud amjo gujo tang was.
Can any of you move your ears?
Kiras no amjo gujo tang thunge yel.
Some people can't wiggle their ears.
Kashi chidu rolas me amjo dis turu tang chedi.
Do you have any questions before we end?
That's all then dizam masha kon la tiwa US sekron. Tiwa US segela. So de zam masha kon la soje pasin. Khari lig do. Ha. Disko thangbo dikhala embe Dadi deni le du gala doing the gap ni manga thugu doas no kharchini res ande. So why we are not able to locate sound correctly when the sound is coming from front or from behind?
Well, when the subject is sitting here, the sounds coming from in front will arrive at the right and the left ears almost the same time. This is when it's coming from in front, the sound arrives almost at the same time at your left and the right ear. And the only way that you can tell the location of the sound with your eyes closed is if there's a delay between when it arrives at one ear or the other. The brain computes that delay as a direction.
Ta thanda dela taji chisa yudi del derwas an khorangi dradi kesi dünchoni lewainas ani dünchoni dradi kharir lawaina amjo ni dila tuzu chigla liyo do ta kebar tis ma shiyo marwas anga zo lebe khar chigyo chi gegu lawa na dinyi para keba juras tuzu keba shugyo di chi gegu res dilatan ani chokhane me di taju shiyo res.
Have you ever been in a movie theater with surround sound?
Ta ngazo longye ta sa yorwas dinde nala ani dat khoga san khoyo yo chdo dinde dra yapu yo thingsa dinde rigla dronyong yo yesa longye ta dronyong ra sangma.
That sound is created by introducing a delay in your two ears. So if you're looking at a movie and a car goes by, the movie maker can create the impression of a moving train, not just visually, but also in using sound delay to the two ears.
Ta thanda longye dinde nala surround sound leda thakor gyo di dinde imba ina khande suor lawa tawa chamchipu maimba amjo khoya dilagi kheba sugores modaji ta meko doj dine pha dugu na dra dodang jora dine pha dugu ya do sugores koran soi.
Any other questions?
Until shimba yes.
All right, good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Kitchen answer.